Hello everyone, welcome to Optimal Timelines. I am your guide, Sean Collins, and helping you to connect to your most optimal future timeline. So today we're going to do a weekly oracle reading about what you most need to know in your life right now. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to open up your heart space, your intuition, and you're going to choose one of three crystals, and that will be a reading of what you most need to know this week. Okay, so let's choose your crystals. So here are your three crystals to choose from. Number one is going to be this K2 Blue Granite from the Himalayas. Crystal number two is this Labradorite sphere. And crystal number three is this Shungite pyramid from Russia. So which one of these crystals is most calling out to you for your message for this week? This is going to be reading number one for everybody that chose this K2 Blue Granite. So I'm going to connect to the energies and then we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay. So what's coming up for those of you who are seeing this reading? I'm getting big time that there's a couple of different main themes, and one of them is about time and place. Time and place. And the card that popped out at first was this new moon card. So there is something that wants to be healed, wants to be birthed into your life, that wants to grow. And there are other things that are needing to be released in order for this growth to happen. It's almost like the imagery that's coming to my mind is like when you prepare soil for planting. You've got to prepare it, tilling it and getting it, turning it over and aerating it and getting it ready, and so that's like a releasing before you can like plant, these new seeds. And a lot of you that are watching this, what has happened is there's been all the things you've gone through, especially I'm getting this time period like 1.5 to 2 years, 2.5 years, this time period where there's a lot of karmic stuff coming up for you, okay? Which is the reason why the things that have been happening in your life are happening, okay? And a lot of it is very much of an emotional, nature. And it's about making peace with the past. What's interesting, this is really connecting with me also in the sense that I had this revelation not too long ago about how and why we experience certain things in life. Let's say very mm, extreme or tough experiences or challenging experiences and situations in our life. And I came to the realization after, thinking about it and talking about it with some people close to me, that what I came to the realization of is that we can only truly um, understand something, truly understand it at its truest, deepest level, if we have experienced it. So let's just say that there is some things that we needed to learn karmically about past lives. And even if you don't believe in past lives, that's fine. This reading can still apply to you. There's no absolutes with me. I mean, none of us truly know what happens when we cross over. Okay, but past lives just seem to make sense to me. But let's just say, even in this life, um, we build up karma even in this life. And in order to really understand that karma and maybe what we've done, we have to almost kind of experience it. Okay. And so that's what I feel like is coming up for you, is that, if you are confused, like, well, like, why have I gone through this, and why are these struggles happening, and whatnot? And it's because of the fact that, in order for you to truly understand it, you have to, experience it. Now, I feel like there are also a lot of ancestral guides that could be coming in and like wanting to help you. And one of the things that's really going to help you is think about, as I said in the beginning, time and place. Time and place. So we're talking about a time of past lives. We're talking about present. Now, getting into place. I feel like for a lot of you who are thinking of going in a different direction, okay, that is a good thing. Look at all your options of where you want to go. That could be where you want to go as far as personal relationships, romantic relationships, decisions that you need to make. It could be, career choices, or just where you want to go. But what's really coming up, and especially for this, as we come into this, new moon cycle, the next new moon cycle, be thinking about, ask this question. This is really, coming up to me now to tell you, okay? Ask this question in a very meditative way, okay? What do I really want out of life? What do I truly, really want out of life? And try to break it down to its most basic core level of what it is you want. It could come down to, I just want love. It could be, I want security and happiness, and ask that question, in your mind. And then when you find that out, ask this next question to you. And you could ask this as like a meditation every morning. What do I need to do in order to experience the life I want? Or what do I need to do in order to bring about whatever it is, whatever that X is for you? Meaning, like, is it, security, financial security, wealth? Is it career? Is it love? Whatever it is, or it could be like, many things. And I'm getting that what is going to be the key for you, because I feel like a lot of you have experimented with manifestation in your life. And the real factor for you that's going to be this game changer is adding an emotional element to whatever it is you're trying to manifest. So what I mean by that is not only to think and imagine on a mental level what it is you want to do, but also look at it from like an emotional level. Actually feel it. So feel, how would it be to live this life that I want? How would it feel? to live those things. So this, this week right here also, for a lot of us, I know if you've been thinking about past situations again, getting back to time in past time, and you've been thinking about like, maybe confused or just wondering why it is you went through that, remember that whatever we all go through is a gift, because now you understand that. And the only people that can truly understand what you've gone through is if they've gone through almost the exact same thing or something very similar. Okay. So it's a very unique group of people. When you go through a situation, only those that really go through it. And then once you understand that, you ask yourself, okay, I this was really tough, but like, what did I learn from that? And even something that's really, really tough, it's time to release it. Okay. It's time to let it go. Okay. Because whatever that is, if it's in the past, if it's not currently directly hurting you in some way, like if it's a relationship that you're still in or something, okay, that's a different story. You're still dealing with it. But if it's something from your past that is a memory, it's time to let that go. If it's a negative memory, okay, it's time to release that. All right. But I can see, like, a lot of you have been doing a lot of work, and you've put in time and effort into this, but it's time to kind of like wrap this up so you can go to this like next level. Okay. Because I see like a whole new level of making sense of your life if you can kind of get over this one hurdle. So anyway, I hope this reading was helpful and it resonated with you. Thank you so much for watching. And I just want to say, if any of the other crystals called to you, feel free to watch any of the other videos, because that's perfectly okay. More than one crystal could be calling to you, and it's okay to watch more than one reading or watch them all. So thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. And we'll see you again on another video. Many blessings. So this is going to be reading number 2 for everybody that chose this Labradorite sphere. So I'm going to connect to the energies and then we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, so what I'm seeing big time coming up for you in this reading is, if you're watching this reading, you have so much potential of reaching your goals, okay? And you're either in the process of doing so, or you're really close about tweaking some things in your life in order to go to the next level. Now, if you have, I feel like a lot of you watching this reading either have been doing or going down a more spiritual path, like, you've always had spirituality, or you've been wanting to incorporate it, in your life. So either you've had a spiritual practice, meaning like it could be anything from, like yoga, meditation, whatever it is you do to connect spiritually to the world. I mean, even like oracle cards, tarot, but your spiritual side. Okay. I feel like a lot of you, if you haven't been doing it, maybe you have in the past, and then you should start, bringing it up to the forefront. But what's coming in big time, this is the interesting thing, is what's wanting to come into your consciousness. And I feel like, you got this card, guides, okay, and psychic. I feel like a lot of you have been developing or have this natural intuition. And what's wanting to come up is for you to fully understand what is divine or what is spiritual. You've got divinity and you've got spiritual, like, cleansing here, okay? And the message that's coming up big time is that everything in this universe is spiritual. Because we're not going to get into this big thing, but we're going to get into the, in this channel, I talk a lot about polarities, okay? So even the negative things in this world, even the so-called profane things, are holy and sacred. Okay? So how is that? Why is that? Why are the profane things, why are negative things also under the sacredness? Because one of the things that humanity has been doing spiritually over the years is we've gone, and we're still not there yet, but we've gone from looking at the world in duality of black and white, good, bad, and labeling everything. How could anything, like, if you believe that this universe is a great universe, and like even has a creator, whatever it is, like how could there be good and bad? Everything emanates from the ultimate source. Okay, let me bring it down to another level. So you could wrap your head around this, because this point is something that I still contemplate, because it's so mind-blowing. In other words, making sense of how there can be so-called bad in the world. Bad, just like good, is a spectrum. Everything from, like, I stub my toe to something more extreme, okay? Stubbing your toe is not good, okay? That would be considered like, bad. It's not a nice situation. And I'm not even going to get into, there's a spectrum. The same thing with good, of like, oh, wow, I just got a compliment, or I just won the lottery, okay? I mean, there's this spectrum of good and bad in each polarity. But how could something bad be good or holy or sacred? Okay, let's take a competition, okay? Most people can relate to this. Let's say you have two individuals competing in sports, in chess, it could be teams, okay? Whatever it is, or people going up with honest competition, let's say getting grades, becoming, valedictorian. So all of these things, all these achievements, the only way that they're made possible is by something negative. Okay, so let me explain that, right? So if you have two teams competing, they both work their butts off, or two individuals competing, they've trained, they have skills, and they go head to head in competition, and there can only be one winner, one victor, okay? And the person or the team or the side that does not win, it does not feel good. Nobody, like, if you're in a competition, you don't want to lose, because you might even put in, just as much work or more work than the other person or, team or entity or whatever. But in order for that team to or person or side to win or feel the good or feel elated or the ecstasy of that moment, getting an A, making it, in the music industry, whatever it is, then there has to be someone who doesn't. Okay, like it's the law of polarity. And it's something that I talk about over and over again. What's coming up in your life right now is that for some reason you haven't fully made friends with the totality of life. So I'm getting that, like, there's still like, that's good, that's bad, that's holy, that's unholy, that's sacred, that's, sacrilegious. I mean, there's these things that are wanting to come. And when you can finally, like, this is a teaching that's wanting to come into your life, and I feel like you've probably gotten hints of what I'm saying, intuitive hits that you're feeling coming in, messages from your guides. I'm sure this isn't the first time that you're hearing something like this as far as coming into a oneness, because when you do this, it's going to be like a game changer for your life. It's like all of these good things that are waiting for you, because the reason that they might be on hold a bit is because if the good things just start pouring into your life, you will never learn this lesson. But once you can kind of like make friends with the fact that we need everything in this world, from dark to light, is divine and is spiritual. And you can start looking at situations in your life, people or whatever, like, it's not pleasant, but we need the villains in life. Okay, we need the negative, situations. To put it in another way, if you've ever watched any of the singing competition shows, okay, all those people are competing, and they're competing for this prize, and they don't feel very good when they don't make it, and it's like, so they have to go back to the drawing board. I mean, it's devastating for them. But one of the things that's interesting is, if you watch any of these shows that are out there, like I said, these singing competition shows, I came up with an acronym, like a term for what they do with these people's stories. It's always the same thing. There's like, this emotional piano music that comes in, and they tell their backstory, that they didn't have parents and were raised by their grandma, blah, 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 whatever it is. And then, they have this emotional piano music, and I call the acronym, I call it, EBS, emotional backstory. So why do the producers of these shows put these emotional backstories? So you can emotionally connect to these people, so you could also see, behind like their struggle, but it makes you connect with them more. Because what is, what is more powerful if you have, like, let's say you have two equally good singers, and there is a girl who was raised by very wealthy parents. Let's say her father was, worked in Silicon Valley. She went to private schools, went to, Juilliard music school, and, had the best music teachers, okay, from a very young age. Never really had to struggle that much, okay? And then you have an equally good singer who came from a extremely like rough, horrible background, had to scratch and claw her way up. Now you look at both of those stories, it's like, obviously most people, humans, would want to root for the underdog. They root for this person, trying to make it. It's like, this is their one shot to like bring her life out of the abyss or whatever. This is what I'm talking about, that in order for these stories, these people that have go through these EBSs, these emotional backstories, they went through negative things. And that's like I say in this channel, it's the polarities in life that give meaning to everything. That's why their story has meaning, because there's polarity, because they didn't have it easy, And so anyway, that's, to kind of come into this reading, is what is wanting to come into your life is for you to make friends with, not accept negativity, but accept that it needs to exist, because once you can accept it, then you can see how ways you can avoid it to bring more good into your life, and you can bring the good fortune that's wanting to come up. I don't know why you particularly who are watching this need to learn this lesson, but it's something like a lot of us like really need to learn. But it's because if good things start pouring into you, you're just still going to have the polarity of labeling things as good and bad, meaning that bad is always bad. But what I said in this reading is bad is not always bad. And on the ultimate level, it's not bad, because just like that team that loses the Super Bowl, in order to have a winner, there has to be the loser, okay? And that's the world we live in, because the polarities give each other's meaning, okay? So I hope this reading connected with you and that it resonated with you. Thank you so much for watching and liking. Go out there, make it a great week, and keep up the good work. Really appreciate you. Many blessings. We'll talk to you soon. So this is going to be reading number 3 for everybody that chose this Shungite pyramid. And I'm going to connect to the energies, and then we can begin. I call upon my spirit guides and guardians and the wisdom of my ancestors to bring forth the information that's true and correct for all who see this reading, that it may bring them the most beautiful, happy life possible and set them on their most optimal future timeline. So may it be. Okay, I'm going to connect to the cards now. Okay, interesting reading. There's a lot of stuff coming in for you. So the couple of the themes that are coming up for you is that I feel like whoever is seeing this reading right now, you've been trying to achieve a certain level of success in your life, and it could be everything from career goals. It could be gaining money and wealth. It could be stronger family relationships, or like romantic relate. But you're trying to bring something into your life, and you've been trying to achieve it. And I feel like you've put in a lot of work. And I'm getting that there are some things that have been working against you in order to achieve this. So there could be a certain level of possibly some frustration, hitting some like roadblocks that I'm kind of picking up, that is kind of, you can see where you want to go, and there's things that you want to accomplish. I feel like you are moving toward that, but what's big time coming up is, in order for us to achieve the good things in our life, we have to start from a base level of appreciation and gratitude, and I'm getting that like big time. And I feel like a lot of it isn't necessarily something you're doing, but I feel like in your general environment, there could be like a negativity around you. So, in your workplace, possibly in your home life, friends or family. And it's almost like I'm getting this feeling like you're trying to better yourself, and there seems like you're hitting obstacles, and some of you may have figured out that it's because there could be some like negativity around you, or some of you maybe haven't figured it out. You're just like, well, that's them, or that's this situation. And so I'm feeling like it's what's really coming up for you is to be able to separate your mind, heart, and energy from any negativity around you. If their people are not important in your life, obviously if they're not really that important, you may want to think about, okay, I don't really need to be around them. If they're obviously people that are, like, close friends, loved ones, or whatever, there's a different ways to deal with them. We can't just like, cut everybody out of our life, but like you have to kind of deal with it. And that's more like kind of setting boundaries and like, um, kind of protecting yourself. But the reason this is going on, so in order to achieve these goals, there's two things. I said it's the gratitude and appreciation part, and it's also the trust part that's coming in. So in order to achieve things, like when you think about it, there's a certain level, you get to a certain level of moving in a direction to achieve something, and there's a certain amount of trust that has to come in, meaning that I'm trusting that when I move forward in whatever it is I want to do, that I'm going to be okay. And you see this a lot, like, in other words, let's say we'll put this on a relationship level. Let's say like when, if you are not in a relationship or you are currently in one, whatever the case may be, when we are first going into a relationship, there's a certain amount of trust and faith that we have to have. Like, we do our best to say, okay, like there's a connection here. You know, we seem like a good match, and I think this is going to work. But usually most people, there's no guarantees. In other words, there's not a contract saying, or you don't see like a video, this is how your life's going to be with this person. There's a certain level of, you have to step out on a limb. You have to like go into the unknown. Okay. And that takes a certain amount of trust. So that's what this is like walking into the unknown. So that's anything we want to achieve good in our life. If you even listen to anybody that's ever achieved anything, whatever it is, financial success, career success, in any of the industries, it's like there's always this common element of having to walk out into the unknown and trust and have like faith, And so like getting back to what you want to do, in order for this to come about, I feel like this can come, but the two elements that are there's three elements that are needing to be looked at here. The number one element I said is really, and we're going to touch on one. The first is gratitude, appreciation. The second is trust and faith. And the fourth is setting boundaries and making sure that negativity is not seeping into your life. So those three things. I'm going to take it one at a time really quick here. The gratitude and appreciation is simply getting up every day. And I want to tell you that, okay, that I know this is super important, and I struggle with this every day. Okay. But I've gotten better at it. And what I do, I'll just tell you my method is, I try to start the day and go throughout the day and end the day in a place of appreciation. Even when something negative is happening around me, I try to say like, okay, well, you deal with it, and I don't let it suck me in, because I go to the gratitude what I have in my life, and have that appreciation, and that keeps me in that energetic field. Because in order to, this is sacred geometry here. This affluence card I wanted to show you because it's really powerful. This is called the Sri Yantra. Okay, and this is a very, very powerful Hindu symbol of creativity, of abundance, of affluence. And in fact, if you search this, you might want to print out something and keep it near you, because just this sacred geometry here is super, super powerful. I've worked with it over the years, and it's really amazing. Or even, they make like, jewelry or different things, with that image. But what that is that this is really what we're talking about here, is the keys to manifesting, the keys to creating the life that you want. Okay. And if you go back and after this reading, the three things I talked about: gratitude, appreciation, trust and faith, and setting boundaries. And let's just say, like, from the haters, or it could be boundaries from, you could be the internal hater. What I mean by that is you could be, your own worst enemy, in the sense where your negativity starts seeping in. Okay, so it doesn't matter where it comes from because it's there. But those three elements, if you go back and look at any person that has ever achieved anything, whether they're famous or not, let's say they had great success in relationships, you can see that they've used these same steps and maybe added some more, but these three basic steps are going to be found in their story. Okay. And so the gratitude, like I said, just coming from a place of like all the good things I have in my life. I really appreciate the fact that, wow, I got to eat 3 meals today, and there's lots of people in the world that don't have that. I have clean water to drink, little things like that. It just keeps you in that heart space of gratitude and appreciation. Then the trust part, the trust and faith, meaning that there's going to come to a point in everyone's road where they're just going to have to take these like leaps of faith and just trust. You do everything you can. Your intuition tells you to move in a direction. Your logic tells you to move in that direction, but there's no guarantees, and you just have to at some point take that step and move forward. Okay. And so that's something that comes into play. And then dealing with either our own negative internal thoughts, or, or outside where people, can mar that. We have to guard against that. You know what I mean? Guard against that. And you have to realize that, there is quite a bit of negativity in the world. And sometimes it's from people that, they don't mean it negative. They don't mean it in a negative way necessarily. Okay. A lot of them, it's under the guise of, well, I'm just trying to be practical. I'm just trying to be realistic. Okay. And when you think about it, anyone that's ever achieved anything great, were they being realistic? Think about it. Think about all the stories in science, in the arts, in whatever. They weren't being realistic, because if they were being realistic, they would have listened to people around them or their own inner dialogue, and they would have never made that like leap of faith. Okay. That's what's really coming up big time. If you've been hitting roadblocks, try these 3 components, looking at them, keeping your gratitude and appreciation, your trust and your faith, and moving forward, and keeping the negativity, the thoughts and negative emotions out of your sphere. And, it should work for you very well. So anyway, thank you for watching. I hope this video resonated with you and that connected with you. Feel free to watch any of the other videos. There could be other messages. If any of the other crystals or all of them kind of were calling to you, feel free to watch the other videos too, because there could be things in there for you also. So thank you so much for watching, for liking, sharing, and subscribing, helping me grow the channel. Much appreciation. Thank you. Many blessings.